Preview. Staying barbecued up in here. UFC Vegas 49. Bobby Green stepping in 10 days notice. I forget. Beneil Dariush. He's replacing Beneil Dariush against Islam Makhachev. Main cards kicks off Arman Petrosyan versus Gregory Rodriguez. Petrosyan is 6-1. Won his contract on the Contender Series in October with a TKO win over Kenan Kolev. This, of course, will be his UFC debut. He all 6 of his wins via knockout. His only loss is a knockout loss to Hassan Yousufi at AMC 102. He stands 6'2", 71-inch tall, and he'll be going up against Rodriguez, who is 6'3", or I said 71-inch tall, 71-inch reach. I'm sorry. He's going up against Rodriguez, who is 6'3" with a 76-inch reach, so a significant reach advantage for Gregory Rodriguez, who is 11-3 with 5 wins by knockout and 4 wins by submission. 2 out of 3 of his losses are via knockout, and he has never been submitted in his career. He's 2-0 in the UFC with decision wins over Dusko Todorovic and a TKO win over Jun Young Park. He's on a 4-fight winning streak since his Dana White Contender Series loss to Jordan Williams. He fought twice in LFA and then, of course, got the 2-0 in the UFC. He's got good jiu-jitsu, great ground game. He's going to be coming in bigger reach. Petrosyan, I really don't see Petrosyan being able to, what the fuck? Being able to get around the long arms of Rodriguez. I'm going to go Rodriguez via submission and or decision. Arman Tsarukyan, I think that's how you say his name, versus Joel Alvarez. Tsarukyan's 17-2, 4-1 in the UFC. He lost his debut to Islam Makhachev, but since has decision wins over Oliver Arben Mercier, Davy Ramos, Matt Frivola, and then most recently a TKO win over Christos Giagos in September. He's got 11 finishes, 11 out of 17 his wins are finishes, 6 knockouts, 5 submissions, very well-rounded. His only other loss was a knockout loss to Alexander Bikliach in his second professional fight. He comes into this fight 5'9", 72-inch reach, going up against Joel Alvarez, who is 6'3", with a 77-inch reach, so 5-inch reach advantage for Alvarez, and he is around 6 inches taller than Tsarukyan. Tsarukyan's got a great wrestling background, but he's going up against a good submission artist, and Joel Alvarez, who has a 100% finish rate with 3 knockout wins and 16 wins by submission. He's 19-2. He's got knocked out by Ali Abrakatov in 2015, and then a decision loss to Damir Esmagulov in his UFC debut. He's 4-1 in the UFC with wins over Danilo Bellandaro, Joseph Duffy, Alexander Yakovlev, and Thiago Moraes. So he's fought guys that are really good at jiu-jitsu. Not really fought any kind of dominant wrestler yet. This is going to be his first test against Arman Tsarukyan. And I think that's where he gets it done. A lot of people are trying to sell this fight as the classic grappler versus striker, but I think that Alvarez is more of a grappler. It's just kind of that wrestling versus jiu-jitsu. So I'm going to go Arman Tsarukyan right there. Arman Tsarukyan. Ji Yun Kim versus Priscilla Cachoeira, I think is kind of a weird fight to be, second to last pretty much, or third to last, sorry. Kim comes into this fight a 3rd-degree black belt in Hapkido and a brown belt in Jiu-Jitsu. She is 9-4-2, 3-4 in the UFC. She's got UFC wins over Justine Kish, Melinda Fabiana. Both split decisions were those 2 wins, and then a knockout win over Nadia Kassim. She's currently on a 2-fight losing streak, losing decisions to Alexa Grasso and Molly McCann. She's never been finished in a professional career. Both of her first 2 professional fights both ended in draw. So she started her career 0-2. And she missed weight twice at flyweight in her time in the UFC. So in her 7 fights in the UFC, recently she has missed weight for flyweight twice, whereas Cachoeira also missed weight for flyweight in her most recent fight. Kelleher is 10-4, 2-4 in the UFC. She lost her last fight via submission to Jillian Robinson in December, although she came in overweight. She got her two UFC wins were over Shayna Dobson and Gina Mazzani. Other UFC losses include Luna Carolina, Molly McCann, and Valentina Shevchenko. 6 wins by knockout, 4 wins by decision, no wins by submission, of course, to Kelleher. She's never been knocked out in her professional career, but 2 out of 4 of her losses are via submission. So it depends on what kind of game plan Kim takes to this fight. She's got a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, 3rd-degree black belt in Hapkido, so I think she's going to feel comfortable standing. But with Kelleher having 50% of her losses via submission, I think that if Kim can use that brown belt in jiu-jitsu and get her to the ground and finish her that way, I think that's going to be her best course of action. So I'm going to go Jin Young Kim in this third to last fight of UFC Vegas 49. Misha Serkinov, Wellington Turman is going to be our co-main event. Excuse me. Serkinov, and this one's pretty even too. It comes in even odds on a DraftKings Sportsbook or some shit like that. Serkinov's 15-7, 6-5 in the UFC, 2-5 in his last 7 fights. His biggest UFC wins are over Jimmy Crute, Nikita Krylov, and Ion Cutelaba. And he's got UFC losses to Krzysztof Jotko, Ryan Spann, Johnny Walker, Glover Teixeira, and Volkan Oezdemir. He has finished 13 out of his 15 wins. He's got 5 knockout wins, 8 wins by submission, 4 out of 7 of his losses via knockout, and he has lost twice by submission. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and he's coming into this fight with a 3-inch height and a 4-inch reach advantage over Wellington Turman. Wellington Turman is also a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's 17-5 with 7 wins by submission and 4 wins by knockout. He's got 2 losses by knockout. Those are Bruno Silva and Andrew Sanchez. Never been submitted in his career. He's 2-3 in the UFC, with UFC wins over Sam Alvey and Marcus Perez. In his last fight against Sam Alvey, Turman was deducted 2 points for eye pokes in the 3rd round and still won a split decision over Sam Alvey. So he was outstriking Sam Alvey up into the eye pokes. Sam Alvey is a really, really good boxer. Yes, he's on the tail end of his career, but so is Marcus Perez. He's also a pretty good striker. Bruno Silva, dangerous young guy in the division. Andrew Sanchez, more of a grappler. I guess he kind of was a little lead heavy on the takedowns and was able to get a knockout. Misha Serkinov is really, really well-rounded, coming in with a big size advantage. I don't want to pick against Wellington Turman because anything can happen here, but I'm going to go Misha Serkinov. Probably knockout. I'm going to say if he's going to finish him, it's definitely going to be a knockout. If it goes to a decision, it's anybody's game, but I go Misha Serkinov via knockout. Main event, I'm going to raise some eyebrows here. I'm going to go Bobby Green. I'm going to talk about it in a second, but I'm going to go Bobby Green at a plus 500 underdog. No, I'm not. I'm just kidding. I'm going to go Islam. Islam, 21-1. He's like a mini Khabib. He's 10-1 in the UFC. He lost to Adriano Martinez in 2015. He's on a 9-fight winning streak since then, with his most recent wins being Drew Dober, Thiago Moraes, and Dan Hooker. He's got 10 wins by submission and 3 by knockout. Like I said, very good grappling, similar style as Khabib. Also has pretty decent striking to follow up with that. And he's a gold medal. He won a gold medal in Worlds for Sambo in 2016. He's taken on Bobby Green, who is a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. Just won a decision over Nasrat Hapkaras on February 12th, just a few weeks ago. 5-2 in 2020, but 10-7-1 in the UFC overall. He's got a 29-12-1 overall record, 10 wins by knockout, 8 wins by submission, and he won UFC bonuses in 5 of his 18 UFC fights. 3 times since 2020. So in the last 7 fights, he won 3 performance bonuses. And he's been doing exceptionally well in these past couple of years. I like Bobby Green for stepping up. I like guys like him, Kevin Holland, of course, Nate Diaz, all these guys that are just ready to fight. Sean Strickland, just, real fighters, guys that are fighters, not mixed martial artist fighters. And I like them. I think this was a horrible fight to take on 10 days notice. I guess he feels that comfortable in his grappling. I don't see it. I see it the same way I see, a Conor McGregor Khabib. I mean, this is very similar it can get. Bobby Green's African American, Conor McGregor is a Caucasian male, but Islam is very, very similar to Khabib, and Bobby Green's striking style, although it's not really a karate base, matches up very similarly to Conor McGregor as far as his jabs and his leg kicks and shit like that. So I think it's pretty simple. Anything can happen. I think Islam has shown in his last few fights that his chin can be susceptible, but his grappling is just way too dominant. If he gets rocked, he's gonna land the takedown, and if he can hold you down and make you tired, that probably won't happen very often throughout the fight. So Islam Makhachev pretty easily for me in my mind. The prelims go Zhu Rong versus Ignacio Bahamondes. Terrence McKinney will be fighting Faraz Zayim. Jin Yu Frey will be taking on Hannah Goldie. Alejandro Perez will be going up against Jonathan Martinez. Ramiz Bajahami will be going up against Michael Gilmore. Victor Altamirano is fighting Carlos Hernandez. And then Josine Nunez will be fighting Ramona Pascal. I think that's 4 guys on the prelims, or 3 guys, 1 woman making their UFC debut. Lots of young blood coming in. Very exciting fights coming up. I'm going to do my weekly look up the next fight because I don't have it pulled up like a fucking move. Let's see. List of UFC events. I think it's a main event coming up after this one, but we'll have to just look and see for sure. You know what was supposed to be the main event? It was supposed to be Rafael dos Anjos, Rafael Fiziev, but I think Fiziev had issues with his visa. Next, or is it next? Let's see. March 5th. Let's look at our calendar. Make sure it is the next week. Yeah, Saturday, March 5th is the next one. So next, not this Saturday, but next, will be Colby Covington taking on George Masvidal. Rafael dos Anjos, Rafael Fiziev got just pushed back 1 week. Edson Barbosa versus Brian Mitchell is going to be a good one. Kevin Holland versus Alex Oliveira. Kevin Holland making his return to welterweight. Sergey Spivak versus Greg Hardy is also another good one. Mariga Agapova is on the prelims. Jalen Turner versus Jamie Malarkey should be a good one. Tagir Ulanbekov versus Tim Elliott. Whew. Umar Nurmagomedov and Brian Kelleher. I've seen also Umar Nurmagomedov is another guy that's very similar to Khabib, and Brian Kelleher asked Conor McGregor via Twitter to come help him out for that fight, and Nurmagomedov said something silly like that won't help or something like that. But I mean, it's true, man. You should not be, if you are fighting a guy that is similar to Khabib, is trained with Khabib, is the same style of fighting as Khabib, you don't need to bring a guy like Conor McGregor into your camp. You need to bring somebody like, if we're not going Khabib, like Daniel Cormier which Daniel Cormier is probably the same team, so never mind. So like a Curtis Blades, or like somebody that just has really, really good wrestling that could help you drill takedown defense and reversals and shit like that, so that you can stand back up and use your striking against somebody like that. So I don't think that Brian Kelleher should be looking for Conor McGregor's advice in this fight. But a lot to look forward to in this weekend and next weekend's fight cards. We'll see you next Tuesday. Stay barbecued. You guys know what the fuck it is.